After 3 years of getting a lot of support from my church and a lot of support from people, fans, family, I decided that it was okay to go back to work, because I'd even thought of retiring at one point.
John Travolta has left an indelible mark on the silver screen, with performances that have solidified his status as an icon of the film industry. His career has been punctuated by applause, awards, and of course, a fair share of controversy. And while the truth has often been shrouded in whispers and speculation, it seems that the silence has finally been shattered by none other than the bearer of the Travolta name, his son. In a statement that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, he's confirmed what we've all been thinking. In today's video, we will dive deep into the details of John Travolta's son's revelation. To understand the significance of the revelations, it is crucial to first delve into some key context surrounding John Travolta. The making of a legend. Early life, John Travolta, the youngest of 6 children, hails from Englewood, New Jersey, a stone's throw away from the bustling streets of New York City. Now, Travolta's childhood wasn't exactly a tragic tale that many Hollywood stars often recount. In fact, he had loving and supportive parents who nurtured his interests and shielded him from the harsh realities of the world. However, this idyllic upbringing may have inadvertently left him a tad spoiled and ill-prepared for the outside world. As Wensley Clarkson reveals in his biography, John Travolta, Back in Character, young Travolta was a shy and academically indifferent teenager, deeply attached to his mother and somewhat socially awkward. Instead of rushing to complete his homework, he found solace in the tunes of Broadway musicals, laying the groundwork for a passion that would shape his future. But as any teenager who dares to be different knows, standing out can often invite unwanted attention. Travolta found himself on the receiving end of bullying and taunts, making his school days a tumultuous ordeal. Despite his early struggles, Travolta's unwavering determination led him to pursue his dreams. At the age of 17, he made the bold decision to drop out of Dwight Morrow High School and embark on a journey towards an acting career. Little did he know that this leap of faith would pave the way for his future stardom. Travolta's rise to stardom. It all began with a bold decision at the tender age of 17 when John, with his parents' blessing, chose to bid adieu to high school and embark on a daring journey to pursue his passion for acting. While many of his peers were focused on traditional pursuits, John had his sights set on something bigger, something grander. "Not too many of my friends identified with what I was doing," he recalled with a chuckle. "I participated in football and basketball, and did what they were doing, but not many kids understood my going to acting studios at night." Undeterred by the naysayers, John packed his bags and headed to the Big Apple, where he soon landed a role in the touring company of the musical Grease and graced the Broadway stage in Over Here. His star was on the rise, and he wasn't about to let anything stand in his way. With a glint of determination in his eye, John then made the leap to Los Angeles, where he embarked on his journey to silver screen success. His first foray into Hollywood saw him take on the role of a fall victim in Emergency, but it was his portrayal of Billy Nolan in the horror film Carrie that truly set the wheels of stardom in motion. As fate would have it, John's breakout moment came when he stepped into the shoes of Vinnie Barbarino in the hit TV sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter. The world took notice, and John's magnetic presence on screen captivated audiences far and wide. But it was his electrifying performances in Saturday Night Fever and Grease that solidified his status as an international sensation. As Tony Manero, he danced his way into the hearts of moviegoers, earning himself a nomination for the prestigious Academy Award for Best Actor at the tender age of 24. And as Danny Zuko, he charmed audiences with his undeniable charisma, solidifying his status as a bona fide star. The success of Grease was nothing short of astronomical, with the film raking in nearly $400 million at the global box office. John's star shone brighter than ever, and he became a household name overnight. But it wasn't just John who basked in the limelight. His family too had a brush with stardom, with his mother and sisters making brief appearances in his iconic films. It was truly a family affair, with each member playing a part in John's meteoric rise to fame. As the years rolled on, John continued to dazzle audiences with his on-screen presence, from his role in Urban Cowboy to his chart-topping hit single, Let Her In. His versatility knew no bounds, and he seamlessly transitioned from one iconic role to the next with effortless grace. Conquering career challenges. The beauty of life lies in the trying challenges that push us to be better, don't you think? And who better to exemplify this than the one and only John Travolta? His career has been a roller coaster ride of ups and downs, setbacks and comebacks, and everything in between. Let's take a trip down memory lane and explore the remarkable journey of this iconic actor. After the success of Urban Cowboy, Travolta seemed to be on top of the world. But then came Blowout, a film that was critically lauded, but unfortunately didn't quite hit the mark at the box office. This bleak ending marked the beginning of a series of commercial and critical failures that momentarily sidelined Travolta's acting career. From two of a kind to perfect, it seemed like Lady Luck had turned her back on him. Even the sequel to Saturday Night Fever, Staying Alive, though a financial success, faced harsh criticism from the pundits. Travolta even turned down lead roles in box office hits like American Gigolo, An Officer and a Gentleman, and Splash, which went on to become iconic films with other leading men. It seemed like the stars were not aligning for our dear John. But just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Travolta made a triumphant return with Look Who's Talking, alongside Kirstie Alley. The film's massive success at the box office proved that John still had what it takes to captivate audiences. And then came Pulp Fiction, a game-changer that saw Travolta playing against type as Vincent Vega. The film not only revived his career, but also earned him an Academy Award nomination. It was a mind-blowing comeback. With his career back on track, Travolta ventured into crime dramas, showcasing his versatility as an actor. From Get Shorty to The General's Daughter, he proved that he was more than just a one-trick pony. And let's not forget his memorable turn in Hairspray, where he showed off his musical roots once again. As the years went by, Travolta continued to take on diverse roles, from Swordfish to Gotti, solidifying his status as a force to be reckoned with in the industry. His recent projects like The Taking of Pelham 123 and From Paris with Love have further cemented his reputation as a powerhouse in the crime drama genre. And just when you thought he might slow down, John Travolta is showing no signs of stopping. With upcoming projects like Cash Out and That's Amore, it's clear that he's still hungry for more. The man is unstoppable. But there was one time in his career where he made a daring request: a night to remember. Back in 1985, John Travolta found himself at the center of British royal history in a way that no one could have predicted. It all started at a state dinner hosted by President Ronald Reagan at the White House, where a certain princess caught John's eye. Princess Diana. As the night was in full swing, Nancy Reagan approached John with a proposition that would change the course of the evening. The princess, her fantasy is to dance with you. Would you like to dance with her tonight? She asked. And of course, John, being the charming gentleman that he is, couldn't refuse such an offer. With his heart racing and the whole room watching, John tapped the princess on the shoulder and asked her to dance. The rest, as they say, is history. The two danced the night away, with all eyes on them and the whole room clearing out to give them space. The late Princess Diana, who was tragically taken from us in 1997, was wearing a stunning velvet gown by Victor Edelstein that night. This gown, now famously known as the Travolta dress, has become one of the most iconic pieces in royal fashion history. In fact, it was acquired by historic royal palaces at auction for a whopping $264,000 in 2019. But John's dance with the princess wasn't the only exciting thing about his life. His love life has been just as dramatic and intriguing as his acting career. Before finding true love with Kelly Preston, John had his fair share of romantic entanglements that didn't end quite as well as his dance with Princess Diana. John Travolta's first love, young love. It's a tale as old as time, and for John Travolta, it all began when he was just 13 years old. His first love was none other than Denise Worms, and it was quite the roller coaster of emotions. It all started with friendship, as many great love stories do. But as time went on, their bond blossomed into something more. They were the picture-perfect couple dating for about 5 years. However, as life often does, it had other plans for them. Travolta's burgeoning acting career led him on a path that took him away from his beloved Denise. While he traveled the world pursuing his dreams, she remained in their hometown. The distance took its toll, and eventually, Denise made the heartbreaking decision to end their relationship. Poor John was left devastated, as anyone would be in such a situation. But fate had other plans for our dear John. As he toured with the Grease musical in San Francisco, he had an unexpected encounter with Denise. He must have thought it was a chance for reconciliation, but it was not meant to be. Instead of rekindling their romance, Denise dropped a bombshell. She was getting married. It took John quite some time to come to terms with the situation. He found himself leading a lonely life, but little did he know that what he truly needed was not a girlfriend, but rather a friend. And that's exactly what he found in an unexpected place. During the filming of Devil's Reign, a movie about a satanic cult, John found an old friend named Joan Prather. She was a ray of light in his dark and lonely world. As she recalled, they were both in need of companionship during that time. It was a tough period for him, and the friends he had were not exactly the most supportive bunch. But Joan didn't just bring friendship into John's life. She also introduced him to something else: Scientology. She had been a member of the church for a few years, and within days of reuniting with her, John went from being indifferent to being fully immersed in Scientology. It turns out that during filming, John fell ill with the flu, and after Joan performed a Scientology ritual called Touch Assist, he was truly touched by her kindness. He expressed that it was the first time anyone had helped him without expecting anything in return. From that moment on, he couldn't get enough of Scientology. It seemed like he had found something that resonated with him deeply. And so, if you've ever wondered how John Travolta became involved with Scientology, now you have your answer. It was all thanks to a chance encounter with an old friend during a tumultuous time in his life. But as they say, life has a funny way of coming full circle. Not long after finding solace in Scientology, John found love once again. It just goes to show that no matter where life takes us, it always has a way of bringing us back to where we're meant to be. Love and loss. It all began when a young and eager John Travolta signed on to do a movie titled The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. Little did he know that this would be the start of a bittersweet chapter in his life. On set, he met his co-star, Diana Hyland, who was not only 18 years older than him, but also played his mother in the film. But as they say, true love knows no bounds, not even age. Despite the significant age difference, Travolta and Hyland found themselves drawn to each other and began dating. She went on to star in 8 is Enough, while he became a heartthrob in Welcome Back, Kotter. It seemed like a match made in Hollywood heaven. In fact, Travolta was so smitten that he made a promise to his sister Ellen, declaring, "If I go into this relationship, I'm going in all the way. I'm just so scared. I don't want to be hurt again." If only he knew his fear would soon become a heartbreaking reality. Tragedy struck when Hyland was diagnosed with breast cancer and had already undergone a partial mastectomy. Meanwhile, Travolta's career was soaring with the success of Saturday Night Fever. They talked about marriage and children, and it seemed like they had their whole lives ahead of them. But fate had other plans. During the filming of Saturday Night Fever, Travolta flew back to LA to be with Hyland. He walked with her through the garden, and tragically, she passed away the following day. In a poignant interview with People, he revealed, "I felt the breath go out of her." It was a devastating loss that would haunt him for years to come. Reflecting on that period, Travolta described it as the hardest 10 weeks of my life. In a later interview with the Daily Beast, he shared how some of that grief seeped into his performance in Saturday Night Fever. He confessed, "My girlfriend had just passed away, and I wasn't aware that I was wearing the grief of her. But in the scene where the girl kisses me on the cheek, I start to cry. Her tenderness made me cry." Travolta didn't hold back when speaking about his love for Hyland. "I have never been more in love with anyone in my life," he told People shortly after her death. "From the moment I met her, I was attracted. We were like two maniacs talking all the time on the set of Bubble. After a month, it became romantic." He went on to reveal their plans for the future, saying, "I picked out a house, and Diana and I were planning on moving in right after this movie. If she was alive, it is very possible I would have married her." But sadly, Hyland wouldn't be the only woman Travolta lost to breast cancer. More heartbreak followed in the coming years, adding to the bittersweet tapestry of his romantic journey. Another battle with cancer. When life throws you a curveball, it's hard to keep your balance. Just ask John Travolta, who, after the loss of his girlfriend Diana Hyland, found himself facing yet another battle, this time with cancer. As he was riding the wave of success with his role as Danny Zuko in the iconic film Grease, his mother, Helen Travolta, was quietly fighting her own war against breast cancer. But being the doting son that he is, John's mother shielded him from her illness, not wanting to add to the heartbreak he had already endured. When John finally learned about his mother's condition, he didn't hesitate to step up to the plate. He visited her daily and even serenaded her with songs in an attempt to lift her spirits. Sadly, despite his efforts, Helen passed away 8 months later, leaving John to grapple with yet another profound loss. During his grief, John found himself grappling with the public eye and the expectations that came with it. As he struggled to come to terms with his personal tragedies, some questioned the spotlight that shone on his pain. But as John would later reflect, "A lot of people got frustrated when my grief and tragedy got publicized. They were saying, 'Because you're famous, suddenly your loss is more important than our loss.'" Just when he thought the punches had stopped coming, life threw another curveball. 6 months after his mother's passing, his father remarried, to the very woman who had been Helen's nurse in her final days. While the news may have left others reeling, John's response was characteristically understated. "June is a very nice lady." But the hits kept on coming for John. He continued to face loss and heartache as he said goodbye to more family members and friends along the way. Yet through it all, he somehow managed to keep his head held high and carry on. Another profound loss. When John Travolta married the talented actor Kelly Preston, the couple seemed to have it all, but life had other plans in store for them. Their first child, a son named Jet Travolta, was diagnosed with Kawasaki disease at the tender age of 2. It was a tough blow for the family, but they rallied together to support their little boy through his illness. Sadly, Jet's health continued to be a source of concern, and at the age of 16, he passed away. The loss of a child is every parent's worst nightmare, and for John Travolta and Kelly Preston, it became a reality. The heartbreaking news sent shockwaves through their world, and they had to find a way to come to terms with their devastating loss. The circumstances surrounding Jet's passing were shrouded in sadness. Reports surfaced detailing how Jet, who had been battling Kawasaki syndrome since he was a toddler, suffered a seizure while the family was vacationing in the Bahamas. The unthinkable happened when he hit his head and ultimately succumbed to the seizure. It was a gut-wrenching ordeal for the Travolta family, and they had to lean on each other for support during this dark time. John Travolta's strength and resilience were put to the test as he tried to make sense of the tragedy. He even performed CPR on his son before paramedics arrived, showing immense courage in the face of unimaginable circumstances. In a public statement, both John and Kelly expressed their profound grief and vowed to cherish the memories of their beloved son for the rest of their lives. It was a poignant reminder of the enduring love they had for Jet and how deeply his absence was felt. In the aftermath of Jet's passing, John Travolta opened up about the profound impact it had on him. In an interview, he shared how he struggled to find meaning in life, and even admitted that there were moments when he didn't want to wake up. It was a raw and honest reflection of the pain he experienced. But amidst the darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. Travolta credited Scientology for providing unwavering support during his darkest days. He spoke about how the organization stood by him for 2 solid years, offering him solace and guidance as he navigated through his grief. It was a testament to the power of faith and community in helping him find the strength to carry on despite the overwhelming sorrow. As if dealing with grief wasn't enough, Travolta also found himself facing a different kind of challenge in court following Jet's passing. But what was the reason for this unexpected legal entanglement? The extortion plot. In a plot fit for a Hollywood thriller, John Travolta found himself at the center of a court case involving an alleged extortion attempt on his family. The cast of characters included a paramedic, a Bahamas senator, and even a parliamentarian who raised suspicions about untoward behavior surrounding the passing of Travolta's son. The details of the case were as scarce as a desert oasis, but one thing was clear: the stakes were high, with a demand for a staggering $25 million. As the trial unfolded, Travolta was called to the stand to relive the heart-wrenching day of his son's death and the painful final moments. The trial dragged on like a never-ending sequel, with twists and turns that kept everyone on the edge of their seats. But just when it seemed like the climax was approaching, the plot took an unexpected turn. Confidential information mysteriously ended up on the radio, leading to a mistrial and leaving everyone wondering what would happen next. As the dust settled, it was revealed that the heart of the case revolved around claims that Travolta had refused medical treatment for his son, a claim he vehemently denied. The courtroom became a stage for conflicting accounts and heated debates, with the truth hanging in the balance like a cliffhanger ending. According to Scientology's official website, adherents are permitted to seek conventional medical advice, but the use of drugs is frowned upon. This led to a flurry of chatter about whether Jet's treatment had been impacted by the teachings of the church. After the mistrial, the case was unceremoniously dismissed at Travolta's request. His attorney delivered the final act, stating that the family simply couldn't bear to endure another round of legal theatrics. The Travolta family has said that this matter has caused them unbelievable stress and pain, the attorney declared, echoing the sentiments of a family that had been through more than their fair share of turmoil. But the bad days were far from over, and the saga of legal battles and personal tragedies continued to unfold. Another court case. If there's one thing we can say about John, it's that he's no stranger to legal battles. But 2012 brought with it his biggest and most publicized lawsuit yet. There was a headline-hitting case where our beloved actor was hit with a sexual battery and harassment suit by not one, but 2 male masseurs. And they weren't asking for chump change either, each seeking a cool $2 million. Now these 2 gentlemen, let's call them John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 for dramatic effect, accused our A-lister of making unwelcome sexual advances. But John had his trusty lawyer, Marty Singer, by his side. Marty vehemently denied all charges and even went as far as calling the claims absurd and ridiculous. Well, that's one way to defend your client. But Marty also pointed out that the first claim, alleging that John had assaulted the plaintiff in LA, was totally false and fabricated. How did he know this, you ask? Well, it turns out that our dear John was busy on the East Coast, working on a movie at the time of the alleged incident. It was an airtight alibi. As if things couldn't get any more dramatic, John Doe 1 eventually withdrew from the lawsuit after a little time discrepancy came to light. And by May 2012, both lawsuits had been dismissed. Case closed, right? Well, not quite. You see, aside from this juicy court case, there were also rumors swirling around about John's sexuality. Some whispered that he might be gay. And before we could even catch our breath from all the courtroom drama, more devastating days were fast approaching. Healing. Another heartbreak. When news broke in 2020 of Kelly Preston's passing, the world was stunned. John Travolta, along with his children Ella and Benjamin, announced the heartbreaking loss of his beloved wife to breast cancer. This marked the third time that cancer had taken a woman dear to Travolta, and the pain was palpable. Kelly Preston, a woman known for her grace and beauty, had chosen to keep her battle with cancer private. It was a personal struggle, one that she faced with courage and determination. Travolta, in an emotional Instagram post, paid tribute to his late wife, sharing with the world the heavy heart with which he carried the news of her passing. The outpouring of love and support from fans and well-wishers was a testament to the impact Preston had made during her time on this earth. In the wake of this tragedy, Travolta has been candid about his journey through grief and loss. In an episode of Kevin Hart's Heart to Heart, he opened up about the challenges of explaining the concept of mortality to his 10-year-old son, Ben. The raw honesty with which he approached this conversation is a reflection of the depth of his own emotions and the complexity of navigating loss as a family. In a recent interview with Esquire, the iconic actor opened up about his personal journey through mourning and the valuable lessons he's learned along the way. "I learned that mourning someone, living in mourning, is something personal," Travolta shared. "Mourning is individual, and experiencing your own journey is what can lead you to healing." It's a profound insight that speaks to the deeply personal nature of grief and the importance of allowing oneself the space to navigate through it in their own way. Rumors have been swirling about the possibility of Travolta dipping his toes back into the waters of love. Reports suggest that the 69-year-old actor is entertaining the idea of finding love again, with whispers of him considering the assistance of a dating service or matchmaker. Could John Travolta be ready to open his heart to new possibilities? It's a question that has piqued the curiosity of fans and admirers alike. After all, love has a way of finding its way back into our lives when we least expect it. Despite the encouragement from friends and family to consider moving forward, Travolta has been deliberate in his approach to healing. Raising his children and navigating the complexities of grief have been at the forefront of his priorities as he continues to honor the legacy of his late wife. Through all of life's trials and tribulations, Travolta has emerged as an unwavering symbol of strength and resilience. His ability to weather the storms of loss and tragedy has not gone unnoticed, with fans looking to him as an inspiration in their own journeys through adversity. Even his daughter, Ella Bleu, attests to her father's unwavering spirit and enduring strength. Ella Bleu. John and Kelly's daughter, Ella Bleu. Ella Bleu is not just another celebrity offspring. She's the living proof that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Like her famous parents, Ella has caught the performing bug, and she shines. Now, we've all seen John beaming about his daughter's successes over the years, proudly declaring himself as a very proud dad. But it was Ella's turn to shine when she took to Instagram to celebrate her dad's 69th birthday. In a post on February 19, 2023, she shared a heartwarming message alongside a photo of the father-daughter duo, calling John her hero and the most incredible father, friend, and role model anyone could ask for. If this doesn't confirm how amazing John is, what will? Ella also revealed that working with her dad is always a blast. From commercials for the Super Bowl to joint projects like The Poison Rose, they've had some serious fun together. And let's not overlook the fact that Travolta is not just Ella's dad, but also her mentor in the entertainment industry. Last year, the talented Ella Bleu Travolta dropped her catchy tune Dizzy, and who was there to show his support? None other than her famous father, John Travolta, who shared the song with his legion of fans on Instagram. According to Ella, teaming up with her dad is always a blast, and they make quite the dream team. When asked if her dad ever embarrasses her, Ella shared a hilarious anecdote about the time Taylor Lautner visited her family's home. "I was totally Team Jacob," Ella confessed, recalling how she and her friends were frantically researching Lautner before his arrival. However, her dad, John Travolta, couldn't resist spilling the beans to Lautner about their internet stalking session. "I was mortified," Ella admitted, recalling how she turned bright red as her dad revealed her secret obsession. Despite this cringe-worthy moment, Ella and her dad have remained close over the years. In fact, Ella recently shared a throwback photo of herself with Lautner on Instagram, poking fun at her dad's blunder. Despite the cringe-worthy moment, Ella and John have maintained a close relationship over the years. It seems like embarrassing your kids is a universal parental skill, and John Travolta is no exception. But at least Ella got a memorable story out of it, and we got a good laugh. Thanks for watching. For a more thrilling story, click now on the next video that pops up on your screen.